5anddimeeaston.com. You can shop online or in store. Their address is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 5. They carry clothing, shoes, boards, accessories, and more. You can get complete decks down there. They got grip. They got some local clothing down there as well. I know a couple guys that came on the show that they're now selling stuff in store, and they're exclusive to Fucked. They are doing so much for the independent skate community. They're doing so much for the DIY. They're doing a lot in the area with skateboarding, and I couldn't be prouder to have them as a sponsor. Their story is incredible, from starting it when they were 18 and then coming back later in life to opening up what the store is that they wanted. And the two guys down there are just incredible. I can't say enough good things about them. I love that they're a sponsor, and they really help out in the community. And if you skate or want to support them, please go check them out locally. It is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Online, it is 5anddimeeaston.com. Please go check them out. All Valley Rooter, Jared LaBarba, friend of the show, childhood friend, Never Again Studios official plumber. 24-hour emergency services. 610-762-1656. That's 610-762-1656. They charge by the job, not by the hour, and they are 100% fully insured. They have free estimates. They also do installation and repair. They have a list of things. I can't go over them all on here, but you can find them at allvalleyrouter.net. All of Jared's services are on there. It's a beautiful website. You can contact him through that website. You can find out how to do, emergency services. Where should I call? Who should I contact? You can get all that there at allvalleyrouter.net. Free estimates, fully insured. Jared LaBarba. Check him out. Luke Delmeyer Knives. Handcrafted, handmade knives. I use mine every time we go to the pop-ups, and it is ridiculous. It is just something special. There's something different. It's handcrafted. It's handmade. Luke has grown since we started the show to now, where he is pumping out knives and classes. I want to push his classes. If you go to lukedelmeyer.com, it has all the information for the classes, and you get to take a 2-day course, and you go over everything from safety on how to use it. You're selecting the knife handles out, and you're really from top to bottom getting to go through the whole experience. Where else can you find that in the Valley? Luke is a very special person to the show. He's really cool. We've done projects together. We have apparel we're doing together. I really want you to go check it out. If you're interested in anything, handcrafted stuff, working class stuff, blue collar stuff, like this is the area you need to go to. But it's lukedelmeyer.com. Luke Delmeyer, handcrafted knives. Sign up for those classes, those courses. Go check that out. It's really cool. It's a 2-day event, and you get to experience making your own knife, and then you take your knife home with you. And you're going to take home a little bit more than that. So check out Luke Delmeyer, friend of the show. Always awesome watching him grow. LukeDelmeyer.com. MindleafCBD.com. Mindleaf. Easton's own Mindleaf CBD. I didn't know a lot about CBD till they became a sponsor and they started coming on the show a lot. And Liz is huge for, I learn something every time she comes on. They are over in College Hill in Easton. You can check out all their information on mindleafcbd.com. I believe you can order there, but go experience the store. Liz's mom works over there. Liz keeps bringing in products such as the honey flights. They have peanut butter, the infused pretzels. My favorite thing is the tinctures to go to sleep. I have problems sleeping, and these things put me out, and I have a little bit of lucid dreams riding a unicorn, and then I wake up back to normal, and then I get excited to do that again. So my big thing I use with them is the tinctures and the balm. The balm is another one. I use it for aches and pains on my knees, and my old man uses it for his arthritis. Mindleaf CBD. They are over in Easton on College Hill. Please go check the store out. Really cool space, and like I said, Liz's mom's over there, and they will help you with everything. It's awesome that they're super local, and I stand behind their CBD and everything that they got coming out of there. That's Mindleaf CBD, mindleafcbd.com. Never Again Radio, episode Who Fucking Knows. Welcome back to Never Again Radio, man. When's the last time you sat in that seat?
Oh, shit. Over here, had to have been...
Pandemic?
Yeah, had to have been...
Hosting?
Had to have been scamdemic. Yeah, when we're not supposed to be down here. And I was thinking,
that was crazy.
my fan base was giving me criticism for being out during coronavirus.
That's how we ended up on Tiger King.
That's true. That is true. The podcast got on Tiger King. How did they find that, you think? Did they just see, like, did they just see, or were they just searching Tiger King podcast, or just someone saw it?
From what I understand and what I've learned from people telling me, other people talking about, because they were on it, when that happened, they were already starting to, I guess, collect data for Tiger King, the next one.
Right,
it was
smart, yeah.
Because it was so relevant in what was going on. So I guess when they were doing that, the only people who were posting Tiger King content at the time that was in real time was probably produced enough to get it on.
That's true, yeah.
Netflix was us,
Yeah.
The Sam Roberts Show, and Joe Rogan.
That's true. Well,
How
at
crazy
the time,
is that?
A lot of people were doing dumbass like Skype, like Zoom podcasts that just looked awful. Like people weren't going to the studio.
But even before that, because you have to remember, like when we were doing that, Zoom wasn't popular because Zoom became popular because of the pandemic.
Right.
So when we were recording that in the basement, we were still so far ahead of the podcast like fully produced podcast that like that opened the door then to people doing Zoom podcasts and then doing all that shit. But like right at the cusp of that, we were still fucking rocking down here cutting podcasts when everyone else was staying home. I remember guests were canceling. Some guests didn't.
Yeah, I remember.
Because I was still ripping my original show, and then we were doing Now We Go.
It's crazy. And then now how far we've come. Artist was supposed to fight this weekend. Was supposed to fight Friday. Will also be coming out next week, but he was supposed to fight tomorrow. And this fight got canceled because the dude got a positive COVID test.
Yeah.
What? I'm like, why would you even go and take the test? Unless you were sick, then you should have just called out. But like, people obviously, if I was working any of my old jobs, I'd be using COVID as an excuse all the time.
I think people still are.
I mean, people are definitely getting sick, but like remember before when they were just, remember we did a tournament in Maryland and we weren't supposed to do the tournament at all up here in Pennsylvania. It was like, we had the one, we called it Lockdown, and it was at that barn.
Which one was that? The one with the wrestling ring in the back?
Yeah. I wonder what happened to that place. I wonder. That was like in
those are like always gem spots where like, man,
yeah, I should go back there and just hit the guy up. I mean, we don't have the mats to take down there, but it was definitely that place was.
What else? He had a plane in there.
He had like a plane, and it was like they had wrestling, like local wrestling, and I don't know. You know what it is? A lot of these guys, Mike, are just not go-getters. They're not trying to, like, I've met so many guys over the years where this guy's had like a gold mine thing that I think like this guy could, I'm not sure exactly what he could do with it, but he could do something.
Could you imagine owning a building?
Yeah, like I would be having all types of crap going on there, and he was really not
huge.
Yeah, it was a huge place. They let us, man, that was wild. Like they let us do that there, and the cops came and they didn't say anything. They were just
it was like over parking.
Yeah, people were parking in people's driveways. Like that was kind of at the point where you could kind of do whatever, but it's not like it was technically legal. You just weren't supposed to have a lot of people, but only one person wore a mask.
Yeah,
so it was kind of weird. It was like a kid's dad. And then we also took all the mats down to Maryland. We rented a truck, and we put all the mats in the truck. And me and Bryce, shout out to Bryce, he's out somewhere in the woods cutting down trees.
Is that what he does now?
Yeah, he's cutting down trees. Him and his dad got some property and everything. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but he's the one. You didn't know where it's at, but he's the man. I haven't seen him in a while, but I should hit him up. But me and him drove the truck down to Maryland, and because in Maryland you were still allowed to have like events. Up here they're like canned events, and I don't want to get in trouble, So I'm just like, all right. And mainly it's not even about like getting in trouble. Like, oh, Zach, you don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to pay fines and all types of crazy shit like that. So we took the mats down to Maryland, and it was totally legal down there. They just told everybody had to wear a mask. And we did kind of. I remember they would be like, you got to tell. The owners are watching on video. You need to tell everybody to wear a mask. I'd be like, all right, hey, guys, everybody put your mask on. You know what I mean? Like, let them have it. And they were like, well, originally they, too, said they were like, you guys are going to have to wear masks when you compete. I go, that's not happening. We're not going to do that. We got 200 people signed up for this. Like, you need to let us do this, you know? And they're like, all right, because they didn't want to lose the money as well. And it did it. Like 200 people competed in Maryland. Like, people drove down from, everyone was there because there was no tournaments going on.
Yeah.
So we were like the UFC of the pandemic when they were like, we're bringing sports back, you know? That's what we were doing.
It was crazy that they were the only ones doing anything at the time.
It made no sense. It made zero sense. You should have just, I mean, how many stadiums have outdoor? It's outdoors. Like, just let the people play the sport. I mean, the athletes, you would think, like, are the most healthy people. Everyone's sitting at home. Let's have some sports. Sports!
Yeah, what they do, that's how they started. They started with Apex, and then they went to Fight Island, Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I might actually have a chance to go to, not Abu Dhabi, I think Dubai it is. They're going to have a tournament in Dubai.
Other than the long plane ride, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Dubai sounds awesome. That one I would probably take my family, so hopefully I'll get a seminar over there and stuff as well. So I'm working with Emperor of the Mats. I've been working with those guys for a while, and they said it's coming. I think it's in May or something like that, so I should start preparing anxiety level now to handle that trip. But you know what?
Child.
How about but you know what though? On those planes, it's a little bit different. Like,
are they the ones that have like it's like little cubicles?
That's if you're flying first class.
Yeah.
If you're in the back where I'm gonna be is you get like, they're big seats though. It's more like a recliner-ish type seat.
Yeah.
I shouldn't jazz it up too much because it's not that great. But you have 4 people in a row. And a lot of times, if like there's not 4 people, it's pretty nice. And if there's a 3 of you, you open up the things, you'll be able to sleep and watch movies and stuff. And Lorenzo, it is a long time, but honestly, I bet he would, especially depending on what time the flight is, he would sleep a lot, you know. So, but even
that
if
kid's
not,
just happy.
Yeah, even if not, he is. Well, not always, but
every time I've
sometimes
seen him,
flips out. But yeah, dude. Oh my God, my son. I can't even believe that I have a son. Let alone have an awesome son like Lorenzo. It's really cool. He's 2 years old, and every day since I'm home with him, I get to just wake up and hang out with him every day. Like, alarm goes off at 7, get up, hey buddy, open, you know, and then he'll like be sucking his thumb still, and he takes up. He's like, big bed, and then I have to take him in my bed, and then we lay down. He wants me to read books. Now he does, like, dude, it's crazy how much kids like phones and screens. They're addicted to them if you let them. Obviously, he doesn't watch much TV at all. Like, tomorrow I go to lift at the dojo, so I'll put on the iPad for him. So I'll let him watch an iPad for 45 minutes. Sometimes you don't even watch it. He's more interested in what the guys are doing. Dojo. But he'll go photos, and he wants me to show him, like, old photos. So sometimes I'll bring up, like, when he was a baby, and I'll be like, that's you. And it's just funny seeing him look at it and trying to comprehend. Like, it's him on the thing. He loves watching himself. He likes me taking a video of him, you know, wrestling something or like running, and he wants to watch it back. But the phones, man, the kids, they love phones and anything. And the thing is, like, truth of the matter, if people want their kids to be quiet, if they slap a phone in front of them, they will be quiet. The problem with parents that do that is they do it all the time. It becomes like an addictive thing where the kid is being raised by the screen. You know, my son's got a lot of toys, but he doesn't watch TV during the day at all when he's with me. Like, very rarely. Only if
you're always out and about with him, which is cool.
Yeah, we go everywhere. We go to the bookstore up in Stroudsburg because we live kind of close to there. We go to, we'll go to my dad's in Bethlehem. We'll go to my mom's in Northampton. We go to the mall. We go to antique shops and like thrift places, and like we just, you know what I mean? We're just doing stuff. I got in like, not an interview, but I'm like sitting down with these people that own an IV place. I don't even know what it's called, but it's up kind of in Stroudsburg. They own an IV drip therapy place, and I just drive around with them sometimes and just look in areas. Like, I'm very into properties, even though I'm not buying any properties right now, but I'm into looking at properties. I'm like, oh, that could be a dojo. That could be a studio.
Fun.
That could be a, you know, me and you are like that. We're always looking at like, oh, that's for rent. Let me check it out. Even though I'm not in the business for anything in this area, I just like looking at it to see like, oh, what would I do with this place? I feel like it helps with creativity because I'm always thinking about like, oh, that would be a sick, you know, dojo or coffee shop or whatever, you know? So those are the kind of things, I mean, I know you're obviously working on a restaurant now, but those are the kind of things that I want to get into. Like I want to open up another business, you know, and then I want to open up a different kind of business after that. You know, maybe like a coffee shop or something in food industry or whatever. I don't know much about that, but that's kind of what my wife's into. Who knows though?
I always like looking down the path. Like even with all this shit going on, like it's so stressful. It's definitely like I was on the phone with my mom and I was just catching myself like unloading on her.
Yeah.
And I had to like pull back because she's like in her 70s and she's just like, what? So I'm like, all right, I'll save it. I'll save some of this. But like I'm just sitting there and I said to her, I was like, man, like I feel like I've met my match for like taking on something that's like hitting everything that like I always chase, which is like hot, and you're very similar, where it's like it's very high level difficulty. It's a puzzle that needs to be figured out. You know you can figure it out. You don't know how you're going to figure it out, but you're heading towards it.
Yeah.
And it's a long-term goal. And from how long we've been friends and like where we're at now is like we've definitely changed. Where like things we're getting into, we're way more interested in like, okay, how much is this going to be bullshit and how much is this going to be income? And then like when I started looking at that, I'm like, oh, all right, you know, it's a lot. Like it's a lot trying to figure out opening a restaurant. There's things that have happened that I wasn't thinking was even going to be problems, and then like having to find a new location after working on the original location. And like the other night was just like, I was like, ooh, you're standing toe to toe now. Like you're in big boy shit. Like this isn't, hey, just rent a basement and figure it out as you go. Like there's definitely things in place. And it's been a motherfucker to say the least, but I like it. And I'm already like, where can we go after this?
Yeah.
Like, all right, now I'm going to be in a position where like I could like I was driving somewhere and I was like, you should get into real estate next and buy a building.
Yeah. I know everyone says that shit to me all the time. They're always like, yo, buy a building. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But like, how am I going to buy a building though? Like, I guess you have to get a lease. Like, I'm sure there's ways to do it. I'm sure some business guru guy's sitting there going like, oh man, Zach, he doesn't know what he's doing. And I don't. And I know guys that are into real estate now that are doing it, like the Livingston brothers, Heckman. Like, there's a bunch of guys.
Dude, Heckman was way before everybody was doing that shit. I just saw like that last basement flip he did. Like that dude's extremely talented on what he's doing.
Basement flip, and then he did a thing for Nick Massington from Rat Pack. He did like a whole closet for him.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, or he made a room into a closet for his wife, I think. It's like a room because the kids are older and moved out, so they're like, oh, we got an extra room. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. So that is really cool. Yeah, if you could buy a place and then you hire someone like Heckman, come in, fix it up, sell it for way more than it's worth. It's just, I guess it's kind of a crapshoot. I don't know much about that, so I always like, I don't act like I know things that I don't know.
No.
You know, I'm like, all right, that's not in my wheelhouse. I don't know anything about that. I'm a little nervous to get into it. To be honest, because especially too, they tell you on the news like, you know, prices of real estate is going through the roof, and then you're like, oh shit, and then they're like, oh, it's dropping low, and you're like, oh wait, is everyone losing everything? I don't understand, like what is happening? Interest rates and like dividends, bonds. I don't know.
I always picture that guy who's just like yelling and honking a horn.
Yeah.
I used to have like a TV show. Yeah. So I forget what it was. He's like, Mad Money.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was like the bald guy just screaming at the TV.
Kramer or whatever. It was like Kramer and Kramer or some weird thing. Was that it? The guy, he had like the hairdo around and he had the full. That guy was weird. Me and Jim, we were just talking about, remember J.G. Wentworth?
Yeah, J.G. Wentworth. There was like a jingle.
Yeah.
Remember Alan Rothenberg?
Money? I don't know if I know that one, but I know the J.G. Wentworth one was, it's my money and I need it now. Do you have a structured settlement?
That's how many times we watch commercials.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, those always came in, you know, they didn't play those during the day because normal people were up during the day.
Yeah.
You know, when they played those was at night, late at night during like ECW. When you're like, some degenerate like me is staying up late, and they're like, actually, you know what? I do need money.
They'd
now.
run like attorney commercials and Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The other one, the Alan Rothenberg, he was like, attorney at law.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I remember
Alan
that one, yeah.
Rothenberg.
I remember that one.
And it was like, have you been hit by a bus? Medical malpractice? Did your boss wrongdo you? Call Alan Rothenberg.
I almost thought about calling some of those sometimes. Like, man, my boss is a piece of shit, dude. I wonder if this guy could come up with something.
I'm sure they were all total sleazeballs.
Yeah. Well, what we were talking about, and some of the guys didn't remember this, but do you remember when you used to get paid in a paycheck and there was no online, you couldn't like go to the bank and deposit it. You couldn't deposit it with your phone.
Yeah.
You had to go to the bank and
It was a
deposit
thing you had
your
to do
check.
after work.
And then when you did that, it was after hours, so sometimes it was like 3 to 5 days till that check cleared. And I had jobs where like you had to run to the bank and deposit your check, or there might not be enough money left and your check bounced. And then you'd have to call the boss, and he wasn't answering during the weekend. So on Monday, you come in, you'd be like, yo, my check bounced. Be like, all right, try it again.
Yeah.
Give you another one. Construction back in the day. And, you know, if you wanted the money now, though, like the J.G. Wentworth, like, it's my money, you could go to a place. And the one was the gas station that has the Ritas attached to it off Stefco. I remember because guys would do this. They would go in there and they would put their check in. Let's say your check was like $250. They'd be like, "Yeah, sure, we'll give you like you don't want to wait 3 to 5 days. You need the money now. Your check's worth $250. Give you $119." And you'd be like, "Sure,
Yeah.
I'll take it." You idiot! You gave away all your money. That would happen. People used to do that, and then same with the you know, those things when you're like, I'll take a $2,000 loan from some loan shark TV commercial, and like, you know, you probably owed him $7. You know what I mean? Like there's no way.
Right
you're
out
getting
the
away.
gate.
Yeah. You probably took that $2,000 like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll buy something and I'll flip it. And then you'd waste all whatever that is, and then you would have nothing left, and then you'd probably owe multiple people money. That's how guys used to do it. And you just lose everything. And you'd be like, oh shit, I owe.
I forgot about going, like, leaving work. Like, I remember with, like, the factory jobs. So, like, at Martin Guitar, it's like you would go, and then all of your coworkers would be in a line at the fucking bank depositing. Or you would blow off your lunch break, and then on your lunch break, you could fucking slide over. Because we would get paid in the morning on a Friday.
Yep.
So then it was like we would go either at lunch and just quick, we'd call Pots, hit the bank, call Pots, get Pots, pick it up, get back there, hammer a hot dog, smoke a cigarette, and get back on the assembly line.
Nice. Yeah, I used to do it when they would send me out to do the deposit for the day. Like, they'd send me out in the afternoon or with like a bag of fucking checks and money and stuff at G&S. And I'd have to go to like PNC Bank, and then I would go over to the what's that one credit union? People First. I'd go to People First and put my check in there because it was like it was different. Like, for some reason, People First gave you your money sooner. Like, they had money on deck. Like, if you put your check
It's weird. Some banks are still like that.
How?
I don't know. I fuck with Navy Federal. I have that through my business account, and when like my transactions from like sponsors and stuff like travel over, like when I use PNC, it's fucking instant.
Yeah.
Navy Federal is like a 3 to 5 day
I
drag.
think they got money
where
on-
sometimes
yeah.
like it's a problem. Like where money's going out, I'm thinking it's there, and I'm like, fuck, Navy Federal's dragging. And then they're like, you could do it instant. You want instant in the bank instead of the 5 to 10 days? We want $25.
They still do that with Venmo and stuff. You want to transfer your Venmo or PayPal if you want it right away? They take off money. That should be illegal.
That was just at the bank. I had to check the direct deposit wasn't working with the phone where you take the picture. And then I Googled it, and like there was a spike with like everyone's complaining in the last 24 hours. So I was like, all right, cool. It's nothing on my end. So I went down to PNC and I put it in, and it was 6:30, and they're like, do you want this money right now? It's $25 to pay it now, or tomorrow at Friday at 6 a.m. there's no fee. And I'm like, and I almost did it. Then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's 10 hours from now. Go fuck yourself.
It's my money, and I want it now.
Yeah. J.G. Wentworth.
Do you have a structure of
J.G. Wentworth.
I thought about that too when I battled one time. So I got fired from GNS. Well, I didn't get fired from GNS. What happened was, it was right when the school was starting to do good, and I was ready to quit and just live like a complete vagabond. And, you know, they kind of screwed me over there. They had me doing concrete cutting when I was supposed to be answering phones. I don't know anything about hydraulic pumps. So it's like that's a complete. We were gonna make a T-shirt that said "setting you up to fail," because you're going out there and you know it's not gonna work, and it's gonna halfway through. I mean, obviously there were jobs that we did, but then I was working with complete degenerate guys that were just getting drunk. Like the guy would bring in the whole, he's got his lunchbox and it's just 6 pounders in there. There's no food. Some ketchup packets. Like, what are you guys doing, dude? I worked with them. I work with guys like that a lot. They would just get hammered at work and just work.
Do you think like those people are still out there? You think the generation coming up isn't doing anything like that?
Probably not, because I know a friend of mine who told me, and this guy's been doing like working in the construction field for a long time, and he had told me that he called a couple of guys snowflakes, and they put them on desk duty.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez, dude, I wonder, you know what they were saying to us? They'd be like, pick it up, you pussy. Like, they were killed. They would scream at us and shit. The older guys would get so mad if you...
All the words you get flagged for on Instagram.
Yeah, everything. Dude, I remember I got fired from a pool company because the guy just was disrespecting me like crazy. And I forget what he said to me. It was like pouring rain, and the guy was drinking and stuff. Like, and he was mad at me because... I forget what I did, but I kicked his tools like all over the place, and it was a disaster.
How long did you work there?
At the pool, Arrowmaster Pools. It's still around, I think. It's on 309 as you're going to Quakertown. Probably like 2 weeks, honestly.
Yeah, we were talking at Giacomo's. It was like there's always pockets of time where like it's right before you get fucked and there's 900 everyone just decides to come through the door at the same time. So we're just bullshitting on the line, and we got into the topic of like jobs we worked for a day. And it was funny because I remember we worked at Ron's Ornamental. It used to be off of 33 there. There's like Green Acres thing there. It used to be behind that. So it was a place that made the cement ornaments, like the elves and stupid shit you would put in your fucking lawn. So they hired myself and my brother. We both applied. We both got the job. We both started at the same time. I remember my brother drove us over in his Blazer, and we get there, and we both had lunch break at the same time, and we're eating a sandwich, and we're just like Wu-Tang's playing or something. He looks at me, and he just goes, "You want to go home?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Me too." And we just drove away.
Probably like, where'd he go?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. Then we went home. My mom's like, "What did you do?" And we're like, "We quit." She's like, "What?" We're like back to smoking cigarettes in the garage. And like now I look back on it, and my mom was probably my age. I was like, I wouldn't put up with that shit. Yeah, so like we were just like, we're fucking. It was such a terrible job. It was such a terrible job.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of terrible jobs. I don't think I've ever quit in a day. I've definitely had a couple where it was like 2 weeks, and I kind of put up with it, and then eventually, like, I was already. But in beginning of week 2, I was already plotting.
Yeah,
the demise,
it was crazy to even think about all the jobs I had. When I was 16, my first job is I worked at Sance Market, which was in Wing Gap, and at the time, places were getting robbed. There wasn't security cameras, and people were just hopping on the 33 exit and heading to the Poconos, and like the cops,
it's gone.
They would go. Yeah. So like people were robbing places on snowmobiles back then. So I remember I worked there, and they had me on the register, and it wasn't how it is now. It was like, they're like, you got to do all this math. I'm like, I don't like math. So I remember I worked one day, and then the second day I came back, and he's like, look, when we get robbed, he's like, you just give them all the money. And I was just like, I'm gonna call my mom.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Yeah.
My mom's like, so you didn't like working there? I go, Mom, the guy was going over like procedures from when we get a gun pointed in our face. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on that one. Yeah. I don't need $5.15.
I was 16.
Yeah. $5.15 or something. You're getting paid. I'm trying to think. There were jobs. I think the one job I had, I worked for a concrete company, and I worked there for like same thing, 2 weeks. And the one guy was like such a jerk off, and he was like sleeping in the car.
Oh, the worst.
Like everyone else is trying to work, and he's like sleeping in the truck. And then like I forget what happened. Like he was supposed to pick us up one time in the morning, like somewhere, and we're all gonna drive in the truck together. He pulled up and to where we were parked, like at the office, and he just like I forget what happened. Like we didn't get in the car fast enough, and he just drove off. And like it wasn't like how cell phones are now, where like you could just get a hold of somebody.
No,
he was gone. Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, I went home, and then eventually they called me, and he's like, are you coming to work tomorrow, Zach? And I was like, I don't think so. And he's like, all right, I understand. It was like a different guy, but that guy was one of the bosses as well. I was like, all right, I'm out. Then I also worked for a, I worked with my brother one time, and this one really big fat guy named Manny. And Manny, we were doing, dude, these stories are so stupid. We were doing landscaping, right? And what would happen was the people would pay up front for one job, and they would take that money.
Yeah. Sounds like tree work.
Yeah, I know, exactly. They would
I'll
never
be back to finish the job.
Yeah, they would never finish it. They would come in guns blazing. We'd be doing all types of shit. 9 guys are out there, and then like 2 weeks later, it'd be like one dude would show up late and be like, "Yeah, I don't know, we can't work today. We're out of here."
People still do that. People still do that.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy. I know a guy too that I went to high school with that was robbing mad people. He was in the paper because someone sued him because he took like $50,000 worth of payments and didn't do it. They would just take it to another job, spend the money, and they would never be able to get the material.
Yeah.
So we had this one lady, which is kind of by Giacomo's in East End. It was like up that hill.
Yeah.
And it was like a 90-year-old lady or something like that were working for it. She was a bitch, dude. She would come out screaming and stuff at people while we were there. And I think this is nuts, but this is sad also to say this, but they didn't have the steps totally connected, like from the top to getting down. The whole thing was just rigged big time. And she fell out of there and like hurt herself real bad.
I
And,
just laughed immediately.
Yeah, I know, because like she came out the steps, and like I wasn't there when this happened. But it was like, hey, we're not going back to the other job, and we don't have enough money to finish the one job. So, and the guy owed like everyone, the 4 guys who were left working there owed us probably like $600 a piece. And he was like, so, I'm like, just tell my brother, I'm like, yo, just take me home, bro. We're never going to get the money.
It's crazy. A friend of mine just told me he had, this guy came over and, was installing a pond. And the way his yard is an awesome fucking house in his backyard. It like steps down. So the guy came over and he's like, "Hey, you could put like a water feature here down to a pond." He just wanted a place to like
hang out,
stress free.
Yeah.
So the guy got into the project and he starts putting it through, and they started hitting it off, and we're talking a lot, and he was like feeding the guy when he was over, and they're becoming friends, and he's working on it, and the guy's like, look, he's like, to be honest, he's like, you probably shouldn't pay me up front. And he's like, if you do, he's like, it'll be hard for me to get back here because you already paid me. Yeah. And then like, he was just like, they became friends, and he's just like, nah, it's cool. He's just like, here you go, man. Like, I trust you. And he said the guy just stopped coming by, and he's like, I told you. he's like, I have other shit going on. He's like, your project really fucking sucks to do. Yeah. And he's just like, I don't really know how to finish it. And then like, now it turned into like, he didn't know how to do the job anymore, that he got all of his money.
That happens.
It's wild. Wild people do that.
Construction, it still happens because it happened to us at the school. Even when we were building out the Allentown school and we needed this wall put in up front, not the new one, but the old one. And one guy's like, I'm not going to say who it is, but one guy's like, yeah, I'll do that wall for you, and I'll do this for this. Okay, cool, no problem. Here's some, we didn't pay him up front. We gave him a few bucks, and they did part of the job and then just bounced.
Yeah.
My old...
They get that fucking beer money.
One guy, beer coin is what the guy used to call it. But the one guy used to say, like, he called him, he's like, that guy right there, that guy's half the job, Harry. That's what you call dudes like that. Because he's going to do half of it real good, and then you're never going to see him again. Yeah. But how could they do that? I'd beat the shit out of somebody. Yeah. I think Mike Ortiz...
Thor was probably losing his fucking mind.
Yeah, oh yeah. He would be calling me every day, like, where is this guy? You know what I mean? Then I'd be getting a hold of him, and the guy didn't get a hold of him, and it's like, how's he doing it? He's just taking the money and doing other jobs.
Yeah.
I think there's guys doing that in the rash guard business. What they're doing is like, they'll sell you they'll say, hey, I'll do the design for free, but get the rash guards through me. So if you order 50 rash guards, he might get like $3 per rash guard. So like he might, every time he does one, he makes a couple of bucks off it, maybe even $5. Let's say it's that much, because you could definitely make some dough off it. But what he would do is you would pay him, and then you just wouldn't hear from him for a month or two. You'd be like, yo, where are my rash guards? Like, I don't know. Like, I got to get a hold of this guy. And then the dude would come back with some crazy story. He'd be like, oh, man, I was up in Arizona and I was snowboarding and I was in a Carl's Jr. and I passed out and hit my head on the floor. And the ambulance came. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Dude, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff you're telling me right now. Where is the shit that I paid for?
Yeah.
Like, do you not understand? Think about this in the drug dealing terminology. when I come to you after the time, you either have the money or the product. If you don't have either, they kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mob or the whoever it is takes you out back behind the woodshed and you never come home. So I'm saying, where is the product? You don't have the product, then give me my money back.
Yeah.
And the guys would be like, oh, no, it'll be here. And then literally like 2 weeks later, the suit would just show up. But he wouldn't even call you, but it would show up in the mail. And I'd be like, dude, why did you do that? There's multiple guys that I just refuse to work with now because it's so shoddy like that. It's like, dude, we give you the money.
When we first started this, the skateboards that are over on the wall, we used to, I mean, when I started, it was T-shirts. My brother was involved. And we started making skateboards. And it's hard to make money off skateboards, but we were, you know, we didn't know what we were doing. And it was just something that we chose to make as a product. So,
oh, yeah. Those are cool.
The original ones, which is probably that one that's facing us, and there's a couple on this wall. This guy did, I think his name was Chip, and we did one run.
Chip.
We did one run. They sold out, and the boards were fucking awesome. Like, everyone was like, yo, these are like legit skateboards. This isn't some cheap shit you're getting from somewhere. And back then, it wasn't like how it is now. So, like, I didn't have Instagram, and you sure as hell weren't putting this shit on social media, really. Like, it was still like the word of like people around you, like, hey, Mike's getting a good product. Never again is selling quality shit. We're fucking with him because he has a good skateboard. It wasn't, hey, what a cool design. He's got 500,000 followers. Let's buy shit off of this shit. It's wild how different things are. So we did one run, and then we did a second run. And when we did the second run, he double charged the credit card. And we were like, yo, you double charged the credit card. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, I'm going to get these products out to you. What we can do, since you're going to sell these out and we're going to do more, is that I'll just give you guys that as credit because it's such a pain in the ass for us to redo the credit card thing. And we didn't know him. And, you know how it is to move stuff. We're moving stuff. Cool, we'll do it again. So then we go to use the credit, and then he's like, hey, he's just like, look, he's just like, you know, what's going to happen is like, let's just start a new order. Your credit's still here, but like, we got to run the credit card again. Double charges us again. So now he's like, probably $5,000 to $8,000 owed to us in this shit. And like, so he's like, oh, I'll send you 50 boards. So then, you know, now it's to a point where he owed us $3,000 and years are going by. And I'm just like, man, what the fuck? Yeah. And then I was down in Virginia, and I was working at a screen printing press because I was focusing on like the apparel part of it. And I was living at my brother's, and I was telling my boss at the time the story, like the guy who was running the business. It was two brothers. They were really fucking cool. I learned a lot from them, and they were like letting me do other jobs because they knew I was just conquering them. And they're like, you know what you should do is you should learn Excel and the back end of this, and we'll show you how to do inventory. So I tell him the story in the office one day, just taking a break, and he's like, you know what, Mike? Fuck that guy. He goes, I'm going to call him right now, because the guy was dodging my calls nonstop. So he calls and pretends to be a customer, and he gets him on the line. He goes, call him right now. And he goes, I'm going to teach you a lesson in business, son. He goes, don't let any motherfucker fuck with your money. And he's like, you call this fucking guy every goddamn day. And then I got him on the phone, because that guy, you know, was on the phone with him. Then I called, and then he like, somehow my boss was like telling the guy to like answer the call, and it was me. And I'm like, you motherfucker. Dude, I called this guy, and my boss would check up and he'd be like, you calling him? Dude, I called him so much. I was like leaving him like movie quotes. Like I would look up, like, remember when Rambo called Troutman or whatever, and he's like, I'm coming for you. Yeah. Like, I started doing that shit to him, and I was leaving so many voicemails, and eventually the guy was like, he called me, and I pulled over on the side of the road because I was so pissed off, and I'm like, fuck you, dude. He goes, look, man. He goes, I'm gonna give you your skateboards. He goes, please stop calling me. He goes, please stop leaving me voicemails. He's like, I'm gonna get your money back. And after 4 fucking years, I finally got my fucking product back from him.
Wow, he gave you he made the stuff?
He made them because I bothered him so much. They were half-assed. Like, if you look at them, they're like, some of those boards, like, there was supposed to be a top printed and a bottom printed, and he's like, let me just print the bottom. I don't have the money to print the top. Because remember, there's like a top graphic on a skateboard where like the grip tip divides it. That was like such a lesson learned in like dealing with fucking shyster scumbags like that. They're like, hey, up front, and then they fucking take your money. Yeah. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Yep. They don't have the fucking shit together for it. But yeah, and then like I remember thanking my boss, and like to this day,
to this day, I still remember him being like, don't let people fuck with your money, where if like somebody doesn't pay for a sponsor, I handle it way differently, but like when people owe me money or like aren't doing like what we're agreed to do with like sponsorships or anything with this business, I've always been like, hey man, and like been very forward and be like, hey Mike, like this guy owes you fucking money, and like it's 2 or 3 months now, like it's super huge to stay on top of shit like that. It's the worst, dude, when people take your money.
Yeah, and just your time. You know, there's several guys like even.
I'm sure that's a nightmare in the rash guard game.
Oh my god, yeah, dealing with that. Now we have a great guy. Like if anybody needs rash guards, hit me up. But I'll hook you up. I'll let you know what's good. But even with Flow Grappling, like dealing with like a big company like that, like when it's time to get paid, like you're paying me. And I talked to the other guys about it, and like, I don't want to be in I like Flow Grappling, but I got to be in an argument with them sometimes. If they owe us money, I'm trying to run a thing. You said that you were going to do it, so do it. Like you need to keep a business going. You got to get paid, and when people aren't doing it, especially that drives me insane. Construction guys, they'll just dip out on you. It's like I think people just let stuff go, where like I'm not willing to let it go. Like, what we needed was a good one, Thor. So sometimes when you're doing, like, opening up a jiu-jitsu school or just any business, you need to, if you're going to be doing construction and it's like a, really above board place, they're going to make you get an architect. And a lot of people
just
don't
went
know
through
that.
that.
Yeah, and people get screwed, and they're like, oh, my God, it costs a lot of money for an architect. You got to deal with it. Yeah, it's expensive to get someone because they got to do the job. But here's the thing. We pay the guy, and then it's months go by, and we're trying to get this place open and legit, and it's like been 2 months. This guy said he would have it done in
all
a
the
week.
shit nobody talks about.
Yeah, and so then I'm like, Thor's like, what should I do? This guy's not calling me back, Stanley or whatever the guy's name was, or Sterling. And I'm like, dude, you might have to go over to the place. He's like, really? I'm like, dude, if that was me and I've done this before,
taxes,
I'm going to show up there. Yeah, bring that one up. I'll talk about that. I was like, because I will out that guy because that pissed me off. So I'm like, all right, man, just show up to the place. And that's what he did. He caught the guy. The guy was like walking out like from the day, and John was walking in. Imagine
Can you imagine Thor? And it's for jiu-jitsu school.
Yeah.
He's got like a finisher shirt on with like a skull on
He's like, hey, man, where's my plans? Where's my blueprints? The guy's like, I'll get it done. And it's always something. They always try to like, oh, you don't understand. My mom or my wife was in the, and it's, look, dude, I know that's true. I know that shit happens to me, but I'm not going to, then at least all you got to do is don't duck my calls. Don't lie to me. Just say, hey man, I'm going through a personal thing right now. I need you to just respect me. I will get it done for you. I promise. Because I've had to do that where like I haven't gotten something done, or like just it took me long enough, where I've had to be up front and say, hey, look, as long as I'm truthful with you and I say like,
it's way better doing it
I
that
gotta
way.
get this.
I've had to reschedule podcasts. Been like, my head's totally fucked.
Yeah, I need time to do stuff, but it's like I've never been dealing with thousands of dollars or holding products.
It's not cheap to get blueprints.
Kill somebody over that shit. Like my old tax
How long did it
guy.
take him after he said something?
Well, like not long at all. Like he got it done immediately because he was intimidated.
He's like, why don't we go in your office?
Yeah. It's like some Sons of Anarchy shit.
Yeah.
You just put your boot down on the table and you're like, hey, listen, I can either help you, I can hurt you.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? Okay, because
like
I
a
can
pink
either
hoodie.
demolish this business, here and destroy all of your property.
But like, what's crazy is you have to get like that with people.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to
How
stop.
about that, dude? I had taxes from 2014 that just they gave me a fine because it wasn't, or whatever. Like I had to, Henniger took care of it for me. Maybe some of the new stuff, but man, Scott Salabsky sucks, dude. Not to say his name, but Jesus, don't waste your time, because I found out that not only was he screwing over like me and like finishers at the time, but he was just non-responsive to like my brother-in-law's or my sister-in-law, I guess it would be. Her family invested some money in something with them, and he wasn't getting back to him on that. So like during COVID, I just rolled up there. I got so fed up.
I remember. I think you called me after you were leaving.
I got so fed up with not getting a call back, or them just blowing me off at the front desk, like one of the young girls he is working at the desk blowing me off, and him not calling me back or just not responding to emails. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going there. And everyone's like, oh, my wife's like, just be careful, don't get arrested, please, you know. And I was like, look, I'm sick of this shit. So I just busted in, right? I walk in, and the girl goes, excuse me, you have to put a mask on. I just looked at her, and I was like, where's Scott? You know? I didn't even say anything. Go, where's Scott? And she's like, oh, and I got my, the paperwork that the IRS continually sends me saying that it's not taken care of when I paid them to take care of it. Like, it should have been taken care of from the beginning. They had all my information. It wasn't my fault. And I literally walked into a meeting that they were having. Like, with his dad was there, like some old man. He's like, you can't be in here. I go, hey, Scott, do my fucking taxes. And I slammed the shit on the table, and like everyone was like, oh my God, Zach's out of control. He's losing his mind.
He is COVID.
Yeah. And then I walked out. I was so mad, Mike. I was so mad. But then guess what?
What did they say after you left the room? Nothing?
I just walked out and slammed the door. As
you left the paperwork there?
Yeah, I left the paperwork there, and I didn't put a mask on, and I just left. They were having a meeting with like other people. So there was like a guy and his wife there.
Probably like looking to hire them.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
I mean, dude, like a week later, I had an email from him saying that he had contacted the IRS and finalized it.
Did he apologize?
No. No. But I saw him at a wedding, so then I was at a wedding.
Yeah, he had
and
a couple
I knew he was
Jack
be
and
there.
Cokes in him.
And he was like, he came to try to shake my hand. And I like shook his hand because I'm not going to, I'm not going to like hold a grudge on the guy. I dislike the guy heavily, and I know that he screwed over a bunch of people because he's, you know what it is. These guys, he's like a, I've seen him partying at a couple of different bars, like where they were carrying him in drunk and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, dude, finish my taxes.
Yeah,
I paid you to finish my taxes. You know what I mean? You're not finishing them. I don't care if the IRS messed up. Figure it out, dude. That's why I paid you. And he just would not figure it out. And he admitted mad times it was his fault.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to get this done. It's getting done.
Yeah, it's got to be super weird for him to run into you at a wedding.
He's lucky I didn't knock him out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then especially, it's not like it was like a florist.
It was a $1,500 fine that I was dealing with. Yeah. Imagine it just keeps compiling interest. Then there was another one where I had a guy that, I'm not going to say who this is either, and it's in the industry, but he wouldn't respond to my text or phone calls. And so finally I messaged him on Instagram because it's funny that you're not responding to my text. You're not responding to my email.
The Insta hit because it just says red.
Because I go on Instagram
and
I see the little circle on your face, which means you're still posting stuff. So you're ignoring my messages. So then you want to get someone's attention if they're ignoring you on their story on Instagram. I respond to that. So, like, they'll put up a story like, can you believe that Marcelo Garcia this time at this day won by guillotine at ADCC? And I go on the message and I comment to it, hey, man, I'm going to be in this place that you're going to be in a week. So we'll talk about it then. And guess what? Phone rings. Oh, hello?
Yo, just saw your missed
Hey,
call.
man, dude,
Sorry.
listen, I've been really busy. And it's like, yeah, dude.
Danny's.
Because I'm going to see you. And then it turns into a whole new thing because I feel like that's definitely lost in today's days.
Yeah.
Face-to-face confrontation. So many people don't like that. They don't like being face-to-face. I don't like doing it either, but when push comes, listen, I'm going to get in your face. I'm not going to physically assault you, but if I paid you for something or asked you to do something for me and you said you were going to do it and we exchanged money or, there's something that we're working together and you're ignoring me, well, just tell me to screw off then. If we're not going to do it, but if we're going to do it, then let's do it.
I'm very old school with that, with the way I do business and shit, and it's just the way I can get shit done fast. Is like I skip all the emails and the bullshit. Even like we're currently searching for an oven. If I would be emailing these people months,
just call them.
I find the number, I call. The last person I talked to, super mom and pop shop. They're in New Jersey. The lady's got a dog barking in the background. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like,
I like these guys.
I go, lady, I love dogs.
Yeah.
I go, I love dogs. And then we just start talking, and then and the way I am, like, I'm still cracking jokes, like. I don't change. Like, there's a business side of me, but I still find the funny and shit.
Yeah.
So I start cracking jokes. Like, I was talking to an oven people in Canada, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm just picturing you're somewhere on the East Coast. I go, lady, it said Canada. I go, I'm picturing you're in a log cabin. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then she's hitting it off, and then she's now willing to be doing things for me. She's like, you know what? She's like, if I got an oven on the floor and you needed ASAP, like, you don't get any of that shit through text and email and social media. I cut all that bullshit out, and you can go right to the fucking source. You talk to the person. It was the lady and her husband. They build these fucking things in the factory, and I got 10 times further than if I would have been trying to contact them through social media. Or what I do now too is I'll just, hey, is the manager there? Is the man, like, I had UPS issues where, like, UPS wasn't delivering shit here. They were saying that it was a scam, and I talked to the driver, and it seemed like it was a legit idea, but I've also, like, I kept telling him, I'm like, I work for the post office. Like, I know all the tricks where, like, you scan this shit because you don't got time to drop it off. But, like, by the time I got the head, like, post or the head, like, UPS person from the Nazareth fucking thing, dude, I went off. I haven't gone, like, this guy got all the stress I've been putting up with for my business. Dude, I was screaming at him, and I just kept saying, Bob, Bob, Bob. Dude, I went off so hard, they called the guy, the driver rerouted and dropped my shit off here, and then I called him and apologized.
Yeah.
I'm like, Bob, I'm sorry, but, like, cutting out all that bullshit and going, like, getting on the phone, or, like, I'm super pro going to where the place is. Like,
yeah, me too.
Like, we're
like
really interested in this. So, like, tomorrow I'm calling the oven people. They're in New Jersey. It's an hour and a half away. I told Gina, I'm like, we're driving down there to look at the ovens. I'm like, I want to meet them. I want to see people. I want to see the factory. Like, I want to see what we're getting. And I'm not just going to pay fucking however much money it is to get it here. But we're going to probably go on a road trip Monday. But, like, that, I can't stand not having interaction with people and doing shit all online.
Yeah, because
a lot of people hide between that shit.
Yeah, because they can screw you easily. They can easily just not respond or, like, whatever. And I'm just like,
we're gonna have a relationship because you know what happens then is if something goes wrong with that oven, I came down there, we talked, I met your dog. It's a way different thing than, oh, Mike from this place, he needs help. He needs help.
Yeah, I don't like condone, like, you know, kicking in doors of, like, businesses.
We should.
Yeah, but I mean, that was, now that I think about that, that was kind of crazy what I did to the tax guy. But I mean, that
what
was,
are you
like,
supposed to do?
It was 4 years.
What else was, you know what I mean? There was also other shit going on in your life. It's not just your taxes.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I just need this cleared off my schedule, okay? I have a million things that I'm trying to do. I got to get this taken care of. I need this done so I can move on with my life. It gives me anxiety.
How long would he have taken to take that seriously?
No, it would never have been taken seriously. That's the thing. It was 4 years later that I've been, every couple of months or every month or a couple of weeks, I'd be like, hey, man, any luck on my 2013 taxes?
You know what's good about that is you're probably one of the only people where he saw in person how he was affecting them.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, he probably, like, I'm not saying how that man thinks or anything about him. I don't know him, but, like, there has to be a part of him who was just like, man, there's probably other people who are that fucking pissed off at me.
I mean, if he has a brain in his skull.
I don't know. But I mean, sometimes you need to let people know. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's too much of a buffer. It's the same bullshit with Instagram and people thinking they can say whatever the fuck they want. And
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. At the end of the thing, he says, what I want is the boss in a bow so he can whoop his ass, basically, here. And Eddie goes to get him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? He brings him back.
Yeah, I haven't seen that forever.
And the reason why he changed his mind on the, or he realized it was a bad idea to get rid of Christmas bonuses because he's sitting in an office somewhere saying, hey, on paper, we gotta cut this out. It looks great for our bottom line. And then when they actually kidnapped him and brought him to the house,
I forgot that was the whole point of that fucking movie.
Because he was waiting for his Christmas bonus so he can put in a pool in the back. Remember, he kept daydreaming about that one girl diving in the pool, and he's like,
from like the European vacation. Yeah. I forgot how good those were.
Yeah, and then the guy, so once the cops, remember, busted through, they're like, here comes Santa, and they're like kicking through his house and everything.
Which one was that? Was it Christmas Vacation?
That's Christmas Vacation. And then he goes, you know, they wanted him to press charges. The wife wanted to press charges, and the guy was like, listen, I made a mistake. You know, I should have given out the Christmas bonuses. On paper, it looked good. But now that I see how it's affecting this man and his family, Like, I clearly made a mistake, and I'm giving you whatever you had last year, double it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's obviously a movie because clearly the guy would have went to jail if he kidnapped a guy. You know what I mean? They just let him off. But, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. He physically got to interact with someone that he screwed over or took away something, you know, money, obviously, that he needed. And, yeah, because you don't have to go face-to-face anymore. Because when you go face-to-face, it's like, you know, everyone backs down. Anyone I've ever had to, like, actually put it in their face, they always back down. Even if they're going to never talk to me again or screw me over later, at least in the moment when you actually look someone in the eye and you're like, hey, bro, where's my money? And they're like, oh, my God, like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's always like never. They don't have an excuse to fight you back. So they end up having to just give in. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I really hope like a Sean does like a Christmas vacation reel.
Yeah, that would be sick.
You guys have leveled up your reel game massively.
Dude,
how did that start?
Yeah, so we got a few things going with that actually. So we have Quentin, obviously Quentin 610. You guys know him, our main photographer / videographer. He brings everything to life. And
I didn't know he had a band.
Yeah, he's in a band. He's a drummer in a band. Yeah, he's traveled all over. They've gone on tour and all types of stuff. So he's going down to Florida with us. I'll talk about that a little bit too because we got a bunch of cool shit coming up. So with like Quentin's got, we just have drop boxes full of just, I mean, we had that summit where we had Big J and Greg Souders and JT and Junie and like me and Thor taught and like 200, you know, it was crazy. It was like 100 some people came.
Oh yeah, I forgot you guys did that.
And we're gonna do another one. That was like the first one just to kind of test it out because we, you know, it was like a camp. You come in for a weekend.
Yeah, it was kind of like the best of the best coaches.
Yeah, you meet all the best coaches on the East Coast pretty much, right? So give or take a few guys. Obviously, don't be disrespected if I didn't have you at the summit. There's plenty of more summits coming up, but we have all that footage that we never did anything with. It's just Quentin filmed. You know, we paid him to film the whole thing. We budgeted that in. So now that Ashan's brother is making the reels. So like Ashan's doing all his shit and like traveling and doing, you know, he's killing it on the websites and doing all the normal stuff that he does for us, running our Instagram and everything. But then he got his bro who's cooking up reels, which is sick.
They're disgusting.
Dude, they're awesome.
They're so
People,
good.
they're still getting views on my Instagram. Like I'll look at the thing and they'll be like, yo, this one's up to this or whatever now. And it's a lot of times just me talking. And then what I've thought, so once he did that, like because exactly what me and you were talking about years ago, where I'm like, I need to just do podcasts and then have them cut reels for me, like 2 or 3 per, and then we can post it. That's how all those guys get their stuff so up there. It's like they're not
all the Theo Mon shit. It's just
they're just cutting reels.
Yeah.
It's cutting reels. So like, you know, obviously I don't have nearly as much content, but I'm working on that as well. Like I'm always, you know, I have a month or off where I can't do it or whatever. We're just busy. You're busy. And then I get back and do this. I plan on doing just some audio ones at my house because I do have some equipment. And I feel like I should just once a week go on there and just, you know, film or just record me for an hour and then let him do, I don't know if you saw one of the reels I posted, one of the guys, I'll get back to it then, going off a tangent, but there's this jiu-jitsu guy, Joseph Chen, and he's young and he's really good, and he's going on a bunch of podcasts, and he's talking about training and competing and just mindsets and learning jiu-jitsu, and the kid's only like 19 or 20 or something like that, but he speaks like he's like a 40-year-old, you know, scholar, you know, like sounds really smart, and the one guy cut up and just used like, you know, as he was talking, he used like waves going and like.
But when
you know,
Sean's brother started doing that, I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly like what we talked about.
Yeah,
but
it's
weren't
exactly what we talked about. Because then he adds in like pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
and like different like videos. Like he adds into me talking and like I don't know how to do
it's how tape blew up.
Yeah. It's exactly just other people making clips of him and posting them, but these guys are making clips. And I kind of, sometimes I give them direction like, hey, do this one, like of me talking about this. Sometimes they just do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that was really good with you not even knowing what the heck I was talking about. Because they're not in jiu-jitsu. I mean, Sean is deep in the jiu-jitsu game now, but they don't train.
Yeah.
They don't train or anything like that. So they have such a good understanding of it. Because like even when I tell guys about Sean, they're like, well, how's he going to know if he don't train? I'm like, bro, believe me, this guy gets it.
I remember when you first were fucking with him.
Yeah.
Because then he was doing like lower thirds and the graphic designs and the thumbnails for Now We Go.
Yep.
And then like then he was doing stuff for Zach's Corner, and then like his come up is
even
absolutely insane.
Even before that, like that was
that's what I'm saying. It's like when I first started interacting with you, you had already been working with him, and like you were like, hey, this guy in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Well, because I was using like what was the name of the thing I was using before?
Was it Fiverr you found him on?
No. I found him through my buddy Abe from Show the Art, who used to help me run Finishers originally, and he still has that brand. It's an Instagram thing, and he owns a coffee shop now called Shout Out
that's right.
Muse Coffee Co. in I think it's in Lyndhurst, New Jersey, is where most of his stuff is. That's where he's from. He's out in Jersey. And he's killing it. Him and Marcus or Marco, are killing the coffee game too. Like he's always been, Abe has always been super creative, and Marcos too. Like he's just, he doesn't post a lot of stuff on Instagram, but they're just always been. They always started Show the Art. Both used to compete in jiu-jitsu and stuff, and like he was having flyers made, I think, and having stuff made for his brand. I don't know how he found them. I'd have to ask Sean and ask Abe. But then one day I was like, yo, who makes your flyers? And he was like, oh, I got this one guy. He's really fast and he's really good.
He is fast.
Yeah, and he's like, but he's not around.
24 hours.
Dude.
Some of the shit.
Insane. Sometimes I send him shit.
I'm not saying his times now. I'm saying when we first worked with him.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just kind of focused on doing some stuff, and he was building his portfolio. It's wild seeing him like flourish and get an apartment.
He knocks out a website. He knocks out all types of stuff. Like I'll basically I don't have to tell him exactly. That's the beauty of it. Because like when I had a different website through 97 Display, which is a good website company, and we paid them $300 a month or whatever it was, and they kept our website good, but they didn't do anything, never changed anything. And you had to like micromanage every little word or every little thing that they do. You'd have to be like, dude, that word, change that. Like that picture, you have a picture up of someone breaking boards, change that. Like, come on, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, it's just zero effort put into it. But the thing with Sean is he actually, like, studies the game, I guess. Like, he pays attention to what's going on. So I'm like, hey, man, look, I want a new website that, I want to change up the flavor because we're getting a lot of website hits now. And we're doing these reels. And then Andrew is doing the like ads. Like he takes whatever reel that Ashan's brother makes and Ashan fixes up or whatever, we put it on Instagram, and then Andrew goes on and makes it an ad for like local areas and stuff. So it looks sick when it comes through.
Yeah.
Like the footage too.
Every time I'm tagged or you send it to me, I'm always share it immediately. I'm like, and then every time I'm like, I just look at it and I'm like, holy shit, dude.
So then there's another guy, Phil Stein, shout out to Phil. And he actually, he trained at American Top Team back in the day. And he filmed my original, and I'm talking like this is probably 2013, 2014 or 15, maybe even 2014. So it was like right when closely after when I started Finishers. And everyone that was around me thought it was stupid. And he was like, hey man, I got this film equipment. I think you should film some techniques. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I've never done it before. Like now, how much technique videos and stuff I got out there that I'm always hawking online. And Ashan's made reels of the technique videos too, and me talking with the moves, and like, it looks sick. And then, but Phil was like, I got these, he brought in these, lights and cameras, set it up, and I did a couple techniques, and I put them online. Like, I didn't stick with it. They got decent views, but I mean, on YouTube, think about 2014 YouTube. Imagine if I stuck with it and filmed every week or like every other week or once a month. I do have a crazy, the Finishers archives is vast. You know what I mean? It is like ocean deep of footage that we have of everybody doing with the add the sub only game in, it's thousands of hours of footage. Add Ross's stuff in from back in the day that he was filming.
Even the podcast,
dude, insane. Yeah, add the podcast in, bro. It's insane. So Phil now comes back, like, and he trained on and off for years. I'd see him at the grocery store, like, yo, I'm coming back, but my knee was jacked up or whatever. And he's a professional videographer. So he films for like all types of people in New York City and stuff. If you look at his Instagram, he's doing all types of stuff. But he's like, hey man, can I test out my equipment? And it'd be interesting to see, whatever. I'm like, test out photography and video. Yeah, test that shit out all day. So he'll just randomly come in on a day with like his stuff and trying to figure out, he'll get new equipment, come in and test it. So like, we're very lucky that we have high level guys like him and Quentin, that just do this, and then they can compile all this footage. Same thing. He just sends it to me a Dropbox. He'll be like, I'll get a message like, oh, good morning, Sensei. Like, he'll do it that night, upload it that night, and the next morning I wake up and I already have the Dropbox of footage. I go out of one eye. I'm like, sick, bro. Then I just highlight it on a text message, text it to a Sean. He sends it to his brother. 2 days later, I got freaking reels that'll go up on our Finishers and 10 Planet Bethlehem, and it's like, dude, they know how to pick the music. They know how to make funny stuff. Did you see the one where the kids were singing? They're like they're singing, and it's like, what's your favorite submission? They did that one. They did another one where it was like a guy was banging dudes in the head with pots of
yeah.
That one
they,
was sick.
Clipping the viral shit.
Yeah, like they had the one where they had the girl on the airplane. She's like, that motherfucker is not real, and it's like dudes kickboxing in our class. And like he'll come in, and then like, Phil is like, he likes the footage to be the wide shot, and he made a sick reel too. And I don't know if you see the one reel he made where the moon, like it was a full moon that night.
And it goes into the bag.
Yeah, it goes into the bag, dude. That was like, my mind was blown. And I'm not teaching that class. I'm not even back there when this shit is going on. It's so crazy. And then then they make reel, and then Sean and his brother will make reels that are like vertical for reels, because
you got to cut it vertical.
Instagram rewards those reels, and that's what people see, and we use that as the ad. Now the other way looks sick too, like Phil's reel that the post that he made was gangster. I just share all of it, and it's like a crew, like, and I've had guys ask me like, what are you doing with like a guy? I'm like, bro, I used to pay Quentin like once a week to come in. Now he's even too busy. I don't even know if he'd be able to do it. He still does all my instructionals. He's going with us to Florida, do the quintet. He went with us to ADCC trials. So it's like, we just pay Quentin to come with us, and he travels along. So it's really cool. But yeah, thanks, man. Like, I know people are noticing that. Like, Andrew puts up an ad for it, and it kills, dude. We'll get hundreds of website views. Like, people look at that and click on the website. Like, it's not fake. No. It's not bots. Like, people are looking at it. People are looking at our Google because of that. And it's like, we just put it for local area, but like, dude, no one that I see in any business locally around here is making those kind of reels. No. The only people that I see doing it are people, high-level comedians that do podcasts. Yeah. And then other guys.
Andrew Schultz kills with that stuff, dude.
Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
Have you seen this guy, BPD, Patrick Bet David? And then obviously he's like a financial Republican guy that I watch. Like, he's got good podcasts because he brings everybody on. Andrew Tate was murdering with that, and then there's other guys too. But then there are other guys that I follow, like Andy Elliott. Have you seen him? The world's best car salesman, Andy Elliott. You got to follow this guy, dude.
Is that dude who like pulls up in a car and like jams the brakes and gets out? And
No, this guy, that's like a different, I know who you're talking about, but this guy he's just all about sales. Like, like telling you, like, listen, they respond with this and you hit them with this. And he's talking about like how you want to be the best sales guy you can be. You need to get in shape. He's like, you can't be out here looking like a slob. And he's got all these stories of it. It's like he's in crazy shape and he's waking up and he's telling people no excuse. And, it's like another motivational guy, but he's in car sales. And it's not like you just came out of nowhere and he's a viral guy. You should see the stuff from when he was younger. Like, he was doing the same stuff, but it took him 20 years to get to where he's got the Elliott Army now, and like everything he's doing. Like, follow him, Andy Elliott. He's the #1 car salesman in the world, 100%. Like, he's the man. And then you got who was the other guy I was thinking of? I forget the guy's name, but have you seen? I think I might have sent it to you, but it's called Fusion Gyms. Have you seen this guy?
I don't know.
The guy who owns Fusion Gyms. Fusion Gym is like, doesn't even seem real. I don't know how they have the money to support this. But like, if you're like, hey, I'm going to open up a gym, it's going to be like a mom and, whatever type gym, you better be like Craig Merrick and be like a sensei when it comes to lifting and stuff. Because this guy comes through with like it's the ones it's somewhere in Pennsylvania. It might not be Philly. I think he's got a few locations, but it's like over the top. Like the outside gym is like 20,000 square foot of outside gym equipment. I'm like, bro, it's the East Coast. It's going to snow and be cold for half the time. Not only do they have outside the gym equipment, but you could go to the gym to watch the football game. There's a bar at the gym, and they have big screen TVs and like huge fire pits and like a full football field, multiple basketball courts with like the Jordan symbol in the middle. Inside, they have a cage for no reason, rings. The middle part is just 100-yard football field. For no reason. They have a track around it. Every gym equipment that you can make, and he makes the gym. The good thing is the guy makes his own gym equipment. Like it's his brand that makes the gym equipment. He's got a warehouse that houses the gym equipment, and then they ship it to his places, and the places are massive. He's like, look at this, marble floor. You know, everything's marble in this bitch, and it's like showing him getting out of, Hummers and stuff. It's like, what is this guy doing? There's like a helicopter pad or something. I made that up, but that'd be sick. It's crazy though. But those guys, the only reason I know about all that shit is because he's just having a guy film them all the time, and then they just cook up reels and they put them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's really the way to go.
I'm not anywhere near on the level of those guys, but our footage is dope.
Yeah.
And the guys making them are sick.
I feel like we are a bit ahead of the curve if you're just looking by the area and whatnot, because like I feel like people are just getting into podcasting right now.
Yeah,
as
around
far
here,
as, like,
you mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
right now, and then like now realizing that it's a tool, but we've seen that it was a tool the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like I start looking at people who are trying to get into it now, and I'm not discouraging anyone, but I'm just like, man, the ups and downs of that, and like the traps, and like what you don't know about it, and by the time you're done figuring it out, you're already too far behind. And then, if you're trying to use it for like a purpose, and you're trying to build, and like you don't have a bunch of stuff that you connected to, like there's definitely people out there who have a big following and they start a podcast and they can get their clips. It's the only reason they're doing it. Yeah. But to start it from nothing and just try and like create, hey, we're just gonna sit down and do a thing, like
that's dude,
that's so far behind. Because like I have somebody who I was talking to who wants to come in for a podcast, right? And she's a model, and she's got interest coming out in LA, and she's like, look, she's like, they want me to kind of just start getting some content together. Could we start doing podcasts? And in my head, I'm already like, that is so much work to have a 3-hour conversation with you, and then for somebody to comb through it all. I go, I'm just going to sit you in a chair. I go, I'm going to sit behind the camera, and I go, I'm going to ask you questions, and we're going to have topics that we're going to go over, and then we're going to take a 15-minute conversation and cut it down to 3, and we're gonna have 10 of those, and you're gonna have all this content in 2 fucking weeks, instead of me having to you know how much work it is to try and get a softball to somebody and then hope they hit a home run in a fucking interview when they don't even realize I'm teeing them up for reels.
Yeah, and they're not they're not going to prepare for it.
No,
either, so.
And if they don't understand the concept of what you're trying to do to get that content that we're talking about, it is so much goddamn work on the interviewer's end to hopefully get something out of it in order to put up there. Now I'm like, hey man, why don't you come in and like, even with cutting like content, like Sal from Giacomo's, like he doesn't have the time to come down here and fuck off, because we've done multiple podcasts, but like, when it's getting closer to him opening, he's like, hey, I would come in. I was like, yo, Sal, when you come in, just like sit down, and I'm going to have you be like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to be doing this, this, and that. And then I was like, you can shoot some other shit, use that audio to put over top of it. Like, let's cut all the fat off and just get the fucking clip. And like, that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, is like, to have the know-how of how this whole thing works and how to get that clip, and then the production end of it. And if you're just sitting down to do that, it's so far behind, because look how far we came with doing this to where we're talking about this now, where we know the know-how. So it's like you almost can get on that wave while, like, I always look at it as like surfing in a wave. Like if you're way back here and you're waiting for that wave, and the wave goes out, and you got to wait for that trend to come back, or you got to get up to that wave, it's already gone. Yeah. You missed the wave. And then it's like you can kind of ride with it, but then it's like there's another one coming, and it's like you got to be ready to go with it. And
people
it's like,
are like, hey man, will you I want to start a podcast. I'm like, what do you do? Like, what is your thing?
Yeah.
And there's like, all right, this is my
it's so
thing.
oversaturated.
Then I'm like, you need to just hone in on a thing. Like, hey, the shirt I'm wearing right now, because we have this tournament coming up, this is Few Will Hunt. it's a Instagram site like that, or not an Instagram site. You know what I mean? I'm sounding old as hell right there. It's a Fuel Hunt is an Instagram that company that started making t-shirts, and like they have a whole story and stuff, and it's really dope. And I want to have Drew in. He's the guy that I've been talking with. I want to have Drew come down here and hopefully have him on a podcast one day. And I really like their brand, and they have good designs, which is always cool. But not only that, I like their message. They're a motivational Instagram site, but it's more than just like a t-shirt or a rash guard. They're, doing what even Jamie was trying to do. Remember Jamie? My one guy, Army guy, he was trying to do that thing. Same kind of thing. It was called One Warrior. This one's called Fuel Hunt, but they have a whole thing behind it. They got really good athletes, the guys in UFC and everything like that, and they're doing a cool thing. And they just started, like, maybe not just started, I don't know, because I didn't look into it, but they have like a little podcast thing where they have the guys on mics and they're just talking about like motivational stuff and business stuff, and they're doing it exactly right. And they got all these clips that they post on their site. And since we're running an ADCC rules event with them, like I teamed up with them, and we didn't want to do sub only. We want to do ADCC rules because that's really popular in jiu-jitsu, and a lot of guys want to get reps on doing it. And I know a bunch of the refs and guys that we can use to actually do the event, and I don't have to, I have hands off. I just handle all the back end stuff, and then they'll do the reffing and everything because of specific rules. And I wanted to do it with a brand, and I thought of a couple different brands, but I was like, man, I really like these guys. I like what they're about. They seem like they're two guys that just came from, just nothing. They just started with one thing, and all of a sudden it built up to where they have like a warehouse and everything now. And I love that kind of crap. So any self-starter guys like that, I'm like, I'm choosing Fuel Hunt. That's who I'm going to hit up, and let's see. So I just hit the guy up on the Instagram. I was like, yo, I have an idea. And the guy's like, I'm listening.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then all of a sudden now we're working together, and we got a tournament coming up. And they're doing exactly what we talked about. They didn't hear that from me. They figured that out on their own. Like, oh, wait a minute. We should be cutting Instagram reel clips and putting that up to promote our business.
It's where my head's at. It's where my head's at. Like, I'm always, because the podcast is slowing down. I don't know. I'm just eventually it's going to roll out into this next project stuff of what I'm doing. I'm not posting as much because a lot of people have been biting on my shit and stealing my shit. Yeah. You know how that goes. And, in a couple of months, people will see what I'm going to do. And, when I'm on that next venture, it's like I'm going to invest in the camera guys that I work with, like Matt and those guys, and people like Quentin. And it's just like I'm already in my head where I'm just like, man, like, who the fuck's got a camera crew in the kitchen? Yeah. And I'm like, I could tell, hey man, I'm going to pay you, I'm going to feed you. Let's get all this shit cut up.
Then, you shouldn't have even said that. Now someone's going to do it.
Then Dropbox that shit. I'm not worried in the sense of no one's going to do it in the way I'm going to do it. But exactly, I know what you mean though. But like, I can then be Dropboxing that shit over to fucking a Sean. And then it's just like, I'm in a different zone. They're going to be making way different fucking money than I am now. So it's like, all right, I now have a budget. Cool. You know what else I'm going to do is be using the business's budget for advertising.
Yeah.
And just be like pumping that shit out.
Yeah, anytime someone would criticize, no one does, but anytime anyone would criticize us spending money on reels and getting things made, that's literally our advertising budget.
Yeah.
And then we pay to get it boosted, but we don't do anything. It's not like I'm putting up a billboard. We'll print some flyers out and flyer the colleges.
Are you going to do that, or are you going to fucking spend $5,000 on putting it in a fucking magazine locally?
Makes no sense. They hit me up all the time. I did try to get on that one. It's called Lehigh Valley, PA or something like that. Have you seen that Instagram account? And they're like going around to different businesses, and they're like filming it like this place and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, let me get on. Nothing. Emailed. Let me get on. Nothing. I'm like, yo, man, it's not like we have some hole in the wall like we used to have. It's a 12,000 square foot facility. We just bought a whole bunch of mats too. We're expanding the back.
It's hard. It's hard to fuck with those accounts, especially if it's like people who don't get it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who comes through my doors.
Yeah, it'll be weird. It's just, I don't know. Some people are weird like that. But I mean, dude, like, yeah, that kind of stuff, like doing the food, like, the Action Bronson style type stuff, like even just.
He's doing right now what I wanted to do and couldn't because I just had too much shit going on and I didn't have the money to put it into production. But him doing that show now, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, cause he's even calling it in studio, and I'm like, man, I wanted to do that shit down at the public market. But like, I've also grown a lot, and like, just from talking to you, and like, we always have bounced business, and like, I feel like where people say like you grow and you mature, it's like back in the day, it's like when I was younger, like I would be totally okay with like just being like, yeah, let's do it. And like I remember like having the conversation with the people at the public market, and they were totally down with like me using the space for free to film a TV show over there. And then I talked the whole thing out with Matt, and then I'm just like, where's this gonna go? Like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, you know, what am I gonna do? Be putting more content out, or do you wait? And then you start doing shit after you have a restaurant, and then now what you're doing, you're getting people to come. Like everything you're doing essentially is an advertising to get somebody to sign up for the class.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck does somebody listening to this podcast do for me, especially if sponsors don't understand what I'm doing? And like it's hard to actually sell what I'm actually providing. Half of the stuff that I do is so massive, it's thousands of dollars to hundreds, but the people that it's all small business. They can't afford, I can't afford to do that. So how do I expect them to do it? So now it's like, all right, well, I could have jumped into that cooking show, wasted all fucking somebody else's time. So now they're not going to fuck with me. The content would have went out, would have been more free shit. And everybody loves that I do free shit. But there's people who don't listen to the show who go, oh, you're not going to podcast anymore?
I know.
You have no clue what the fuck goes into all this shit. You're not going to do that anymore. You don't even fucking watch my show. You don't listen to the fucking show. What do you fucking care if I
buy a
podcast
t-shirt?
more?
Have you bought a t-shirt or anything like that?
Yo, man, that totally sucks that you're not going to do that anymore. You don't fuck with it. You don't support it. You don't buy my shit. You don't like my shit. So it's like, I look at it now where I'm like, man, like, you really turn that curve, and then now that idea is still there. It's still present, and then it's like now when I put it in place and with what I'm going to do next, hey, man, that's fucking awesome. Oh, let's go eat at Mike's place. Not, hey, we should like his YouTube. Cool. I need 10,000 more of those to make $50.
I know. It's
such
not,
like that's what I'm
people
saying.
say,
Is like when it's not discouraging or where I'm talking shit on people who are just starting. Like unless you have a push behind you, it is so much fucking work to get nowhere.
What are you gonna do with it? Every time someone comes at me with something like that, because I do the business coaching thing, I'm just like, man. And then when I tell them, like, look, I'm not going to do this for free. You have to pay me.
What podcasts are left?
And they're like, oh, I got to pay you? Yeah, dude. I'm not just going to give you the information for free because it's wasting my time, because I know you're just going to find out how hard it is once you start doing it. And then you're not going to do it. A guy was
go down the list
before.
of the last 3 years of the #1 podcast in the Lehigh Valley. They're no longer in existence.
There was a guy who just was hitting me up not too long ago, and he wanted to sell t-shirts and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro,
that sucks to sell apparel.
I'm like, dude, you're not going to sell t-shirts and make any money.
It's so hard.
You're just not, because you don't even have a thing. You don't have like people see me do it sometimes, and I'm like, but me and Thor and Andrew, we have 2 schools full of people. We probably have 400
if you take selling it
Plus
off online and you guys just put it in your schools. Totally worth it.
Well, that's what we've done, and people get mad at me because they're like, yo, I looked for your website. I couldn't find it. You're not selling gear anymore? Yeah, I'm selling gear. I'm just selling it at the place. The difference is now that you can't just go online and buy it. Then I don't have to physically myself package it up and take it to the... I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like if someone is like,
and
one
if
of my
somebody
buddies,
else does it, now you're relying on somebody else to run a shop. You have to hope that they're doing their fucking job, getting fucking, hey, I didn't get a notification that I bought something. What's going on with my shirt? Then it's like, I don't got time for this. I thought this was supposed to be completely handled.
Yep.
And if somebody does completely handle it, they're taking too much money.
Right. Counting the inventory and everything. So what we did was we did a cost analysis of it, and we said, you know what? We're almost losing money on the shipping and the time that I have to put into it. I could be doing so many other things to make money, to make $15, $10 per shirt. We'd have to sell 1 million shirts. So like a few is doing nothing. So we just took down the shop finishers, and now we just sell it in the store. And guess what? We're making more money.
Yeah.
Because it's cash, which obviously is cash. And then it's people just, hey, man, you got a shirt. Because before we'd run out, we'd put a design out, and it would sell out online or sell a bunch online, and we wouldn't have any. And I don't have the money to just be sitting on. And
then you buy a second round, and then now they're sitting there.
It. Yeah. It's like, dude, what? We bought the sweatshirts. They're pretty much, there's like maybe 10 left, if that. And we had like 100 sweatshirts. So there's maybe like a few left, but that's fine because they'll sell. It's just getting the winner.
Yeah.
You know, like, but the thing is, we have a built-in audience of people that will buy the stuff because it's right there. It's right in hand, online and stuff. And then this is a really good time that I'm totally not missing doing it, is the Christmas situation where people be like, I just ordered it a week ago. Is it going to come by Christmas? No, because it has to go get made. You know, because the custom stuff is custom.
People not understanding how that all works.
It says custom
with drop
on it.
shipping.
Yeah, it says custom, and it says, you know,
No one
4 to
reads.
6 weeks.
No one reads.
And they'd be like, well, give me my money back then. And they spend $200. It's like, oh, disaster area.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know, listen, Fuel Hunt, they're killing it. That's their main thing. My main thing is not selling apparel, okay? My main thing is teaching jiu-jitsu and running the gym and that kind of thing. Signing up people, you know, for the school, teaching good classes, coaching, you know, that's my thing. You know, like apparel is second. You know, some of the guys like B Team.
That's the other thing too, is like I feel like you're doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fun making T-shirts. It's fun designing shit.
Yeah.
It's fun doing all that.
Yeah,
and then
you're not-
once it gets to like the sales and like the bullshit, it's just a fucking headache.
Yeah, I just want to have it at the shop for people wear it. And you know
Yeah.
what? We give out a free T-shirt when you sign up, and a lot of people take that and they wear it to places.
It's advertising.
Free advertising. You know, I mean, not free. I mean, we bought a $6-8 shirt or whatever, sell them for 20. People like it. It's not that big of a come up, but it is cool to have. And you got to have shirts. You know, so you know the apparel game. Like guys, like if you're out there going, I'm going to sell apparel, don't. Just don't. Unless you have a built-in audience already. We got thousands of followers online, like Craig Jones and the B Team. They got their whole thing going down. They're famous. And, you know, besides just jiu-jitsu, like Craig Jones is, you know, a maniac. Like, yeah, he sells a lot of gear. He's not shipping it out, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
very doubtful.
someone else is shipping it
Yeah.
out. Like a company is handling. Like if a company wanted to handle gear for me and then just give me a check at the end of the month, it's fine. But on the contrary, you can buy our stuff online if you follow BJJHQ. Every so often, they have their rolling deals. BJJHQ is just a company that sells gear. And they sell gear that's been, you know, they'll buy it in bulk from somebody, from a company. And they sell Nuaza, they sell finishers now, they sell Fuji, they sell inverted gear, they sell Scramble, they sell all these different companies. And finishers now as a brand is on their being sold through their company, which is dope because people are like, I want to buy it online. I'm like, just follow BJJHQ, and then when it comes up, you'll be able to buy it. You know, and you go on there and buy it for cheaper. And people are like, I want that rash guard for, you know, whatever. And I'm like, you gotta buy it through them. But then the thing is, they manufacture the shit too. So then they have 100, 200 of those, and then they sell a shitload of them, and then they just cut us a check. Or we get free gear from it, you know? So that's like, are you kidding me? Someone else is handling it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hey, talk to them. I'm not doing it. You know, I don't have to worry about it. That's really huge. So, you know, that's kind of like with the advertising situation. And then like the other thing that Ashawn and them do is like they do stuff for the tournament, and the tournament is crushing, bro. We have so much stuff. I got to check once I'm done. I posted up, another thing, but we're like getting so many high level guys want to do it, and I'm really relying on all the relationships. People will be like, how does that guy do your tournament, and he doesn't want to do other tournaments unless he's getting paid a lot of money, because we don't get to pay a lot of the guys a lot. You know, we do cash prizes, but you know, ours is more like the underground, and we don't have a huge budget. Even though we're on Flow, we don't have a crazy budget. And I'm like, it's just the relationships I developed over the years that the guys still want to compete, and it's a legit tournament, and it's fun. I keep it easy. The guys don't have to sell tickets. They can just show. I don't even give a shit if you promote it. Just show up and compete. You know, I'll do the promotion because I'm the promoter. You know, that's promoters miss that all the time. We're like, these guys got to sell tickets. Hey, bro, you're the promoter. Promote. You can't put up one post and then be like, well, the guy should have did it. No, the athlete's not supposed to be the guy who's selling the tickets. Like, you got to fight, and you're the one who asked me, or you're the one who put me on the show. Now sell me. You know what I mean? That's what promoters should be doing, but they don't do that. That's why the finisher's popular, because I promote the people. Quentin makes reels. We put out pictures of them. We share their stuff. Like, we promote them so people come. I don't force the guys to sell tickets. Like, there are There are tournaments that if you don't sell 5 tickets or 10 tickets, they expect you to owe them money and compete. I'm like, that's insane. Who would do that? Like, you're the promotion, promote the fighters. You know, look how UFC promotes the fighters. You think they ask Nate Diaz, hey, you got to sell 100 tickets. You know? No, dude. They promote Nate Diaz. Yeah, exactly. You're selling wolf tickets. They promote the fighter, you know, and that's what Finishers does. And the tournament's doing great. We got Money in the Bank coming up December 10th. The divisions are stacked for that. A lot of really good guys in it. And then what I'm really proud of is we finally got this together. Finishers sub only, Sapaterio, Midwest Finishers is part of our brand. So they didn't get, the people are asking how come Midwest Finishers doesn't have one. They didn't want to have multiple finishers, but we could have had it. But we got finisher sub only, Sapaterio, Twisted Church, and Enigma. And that's who's kind of running it. You know, Christos over at Enigma Official TV. It's going to be a pay-per-view. And we're just sending a team. You know, we're sending a team, and, you know, he hit us up, and other guys wanted to work together, and we're like, okay, let's have a quintet and the idea is quintet is a team tournament, and it's each team has 5. We're allowing heel hooks because regular quintet doesn't allow heel hooks, so we're putting in all rules. And each tournament has 5 members to the team, and we made the weight class of 925 pounds. So yeah, your whole team's got to weigh under 925 pounds. You get 5 guys, and they have to have done your event at least once. So like if the Twisted Church team or the Enigma team has to have guys that did their event in the past.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now Finishers has the most vast. You know, I mean, Sapaterio's got a lot of guys. Enigma and Twisted Church haven't been around as long as both Finishers and Sapaterio, because Sapaterio's got, you know, Gordon, same thing, Gordon Ryan. They could have used Wagner Rocha. They got a ton of guys, but convincing those guys to do it obviously is another
Good
thing.
luck.
So that's kind of the fun part. It's like you're drafting a team, but you also have to convince these guys to do it. And then everybody's kind of like, you know, oh, should we pay, you know, should I dip into the budget and try to pay some of these guys? But like, I got a big school, so we have other options. So I could just be like, yo, I want Ethan Krellinston on the team. He's really popular. He's really good, obviously, he's better than he is popular. But, you know, that's the type of guy that fans are going to go nuts. We put that post up as like, you know, Christos put it up from Enigma. He put it up like, Team Zach, you know, Big Uncle Zach Maslany selects Ethan Krellinston as his first member of Team Finishers, and the post, not even a video, just a post, got over 1,000 likes. You know, so I'm like, oh, this is blowing up. People like this, and the other teams are stacked already, and he's putting it out there. It was this one, I'll take credit, was my idea. Instead of just dropping the whole team, like every day we put up a new guy, and each team is like the draft. You know what I mean? Like Finishers selects, you know, Sean Yatamarco, current 185-pound champion. And now we have those 2 guys. Like, I'm not going to say who else is on the team. And guys are trying to figure out, like, who the silhouette looks like. They're like, that looks like, and it's just a stock silhouette. Yeah. So, like, you can't really tell who it is. But the teams, I'll just say this, just wait till you see who's on the rest of these teams. Like, people's minds are going to be blown. Already, our team is going to be stacked to the gills, like, and it gets like, you know, 30, 40, 50 comments every time we post a new guy, because people are like, this is insane. I've had so many people reach out and be like, bro, what you're doing for the game is insane right now. Like, no one ever thought something like this could happen. Like, the tournaments are going to fight it out in a thing and the winning team gets 15 G's, so that's pretty good pot. Like, each member gets $3,000, and it's January 27th in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is really dope because it's like right down by like you know, it's basically like past Tampa, but St. Pete, dude. Yeah. I've had old guys, construction guys talking about like that's where they want to vacate. They want to just be snowboarding. St. Pete or bust. Pete's. And dude, I'm ready to go to St. Pete for a couple of days. Thursday to fly home like Sunday or whatever, go down there. We're going to get an Airbnb, bring the whole team down. You know, I got Ethan coming in for a seminar on January 14th, $100. You know, we're only going to sell it to 50 people. So if you miss out on this, you're screwed. We don't want to have it too overcrowded. So We're going to cut it off at 50. We already got a bunch of people signed up for that, which is dope. So I'm kind of like bribing some of the guys like, hey, man, I'll give you a seminar. You know, we'll make sure you make dough. Just teach a seminar. We'll fly you out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, I like that. I'm on the team. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, signed them. You
That's
know
fun.
what I mean?
That's got to be fun for you, too.
It is fun, like seeing the finishers brand like be where it's at kind of blow up, and like, you know, people respect it, and like the other tournaments, like it's no like, you know, bad blood, like screw these other tournaments. Like we want to work together with them. It's just all fun, and we get to promote the athletes, which is what we wanted to do, and we get to bring back like finishers, like previous finishers, guys. Like it's almost like it's going to be like an all-star weekend down there in St. Pete. Like if you come down for the weekend, it's going to be sick. Then check this out. We're going to have some sick super fights there too, and I'm sure the whole crew is going to come down. But the same night, and I'm not even shitting you on this, the same night as the finishers team goes to battle at the Battle of the Promotions, first ever Battle of the Promotions, is the WWE Royal Rumble in Tampa. Same night. Christos looked it up. He goes, I got to check into this. Hold on. Just give me a second. He comes back with the map. It's 12 minutes from the venue. I was like, how early can we start this tournament? Because if we started at 4, it'll be over by 8. We can just Uber to it's at Tropicana Field, I think.
Yeah.
It's at a big field. And they have the women's and men's Rumble. And I'm sure they have matches too. I'm like,
Probably
dude,
starts at 10.
They got $25 tickets, you know, and then I got the thing for the group sale, so I'm gonna hit them up because you know Quentin, all the guys. Christo's a big WWE fan, so I'm sure Josh, you know, and Dave, the other guys, I'm sure they're gonna want to go too. And like maybe some of the guys that are competing are probably gonna be too tired. And they're just like, maybe I'll just go back to the Airbnb and sleep. But, dude, I'm going immediately from the venue, clean up, right to the Royal Rumble,
That's
dude.
so fucking dope.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like Vince McMahon was just, you know, hey, come on. You guys need to come. Yeah, so that's going to be sick. So January 27th, if you go on my Instagram, link in the bio, you can buy the pay-per-view for $20. Support the guys. The money's going to the I mean, we got to come up with 15 G's if we don't sell any pay-per-view. So please buy the pay-per-view. And the venue is sick too. And I'm sure, you know, Josh said, you know, if we sell it out, that should, you know, really help us too. Like, you know, obviously we want to make money, but you know, these kind of things are more like passion projects. Like, it's just cool to see the finishers out there. If we break even, I'll be happy because we're definitely gonna have to spend some money to fly everybody down there, you know, and buy an Airbnb and stuff. But we got some sponsors, so if anybody wants to sponsor our team, so far we got Mobility Doc and we got a couple other guys on the hook too that are just gonna, you know, sponsor our team. We're gonna put them on the T-shirt and everything, and that's just gonna help with the Airbnb, travel, you know, flights, getting everybody down to St. Pete. So it's gonna be dope. Hopefully help me get into the Royal Rumble. No, I'm just kidding. I want to be the 30th man. I want to be like, and the man who drew number 30. It's the finishers. You know what I mean? I just come out, get eliminated like one of the bushwhackers back in the day in like 3 seconds. Yeah, so I'm just pumped about that. That seems like it's gonna be so sick. And we're gonna have another finishers tournament in Miami, closer to Gabe's school in February. So that's cool. I don't know what else I was gonna talk about there with that one, but Battle of Promotions, though, you can't go wrong with that shit. It's just bringing out super high level guys, so that'll be sick. Trying to think, where else are we going? I got some traveling coming up, not too much, but just, you know, I got some seminars and stuff I'm working, so that's cool. I want to open up another dojo. I want to work on that as well because I think, you know, for me, that's like kind of like my retirement thing. Like I want to have more than one business. I see guys like, you know, how about the guy shout out to the guy from Supersets, Ed Frack. See that? He's got 4 supersets now. No. Bought another one.
I saw somebody wearing a Supersets beanie.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, they're going to be, dude, I know a couple guys that train at the gym over at Finishers also train at work out at Supersets too. So that's pretty cool. I actually donated $100 to Supersets when they stayed open during the pandemic, and they were fighting with the local authorities or whatever. I just rolled up down there the one time, and I went in there, did some bicep curls, and dropped him a check for $100. I'm like, it's a tax write-off. We'll help him out. I mean, he's doing great now. He's got a supplement brand and everything. So that's what I
like seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, local guy. It's like most of people I used to know would be like, fuck that guy. And it's like, what are you talking about? That guy's the man. Like he came up, like he's doing it. That's what I want to do. I should have 3 businesses. That's what I'm working on. Same with, what is it? Christian Duarte and the rest of the crew. They used to work at Starters, but now they own
Bayou.
The Bayou. They own two Bayous.
They own 2 Bayous, the Whiz Kids.
Yeah,
and something else.
They probably own multiple things we don't even know about, but that's what I mean, though. Once you got one, now you get. If you get 2, then you know what I mean. You're talking about doing the same thing, expanding the business, and that's kind of what I'm looking to do. And the tournament's fun, but I want to have another business where I'm raking in some dough, so I can actually, provide obviously for my family, but then do some other stuff too. I want to have some capital that can maybe one day buy a building or something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool, but. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine buying one of those old buildings like that dude had with just the airplane in it?
Exactly. I built I imagine it'd be like Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That's how I picture the building.
Yeah. It's like we got to blow off the dust and we're going to have who knows, like a fantasy factory.
Fuck yeah. You buy a firehouse, it's got that pole in it already.
Especially if you own it. That's how I thought it was with this place is like fantasy factory that I have here with the weightlifting gym and all the different stuff. But, it's different because I don't own the building. Like if I owned it, it'd be like,
I'd have the basement.
Yeah. At the basement, dude. Oh my God.
What's in the basement now? Does anything replace Red Hawk or?
No, I don't think so. But they're in the back. Like they're not technically in the basement.
Oh.
But there is a basement that there's guys working down there all the time. I don't know what they're doing. I think it's part of storage for tools and stuff for their construction company.
Probably.
But I would have a fight club, maybe a weird some kind of weird holding cell thing where I can just hold people for no reason. Like you're in jail for some odd reason. I don't know. I don't like them. I'll put them in jail. Some kind of secret passageways or something. I think that would be cool.
Lounge.
Yeah, cigar lounge, barber shop. I would just start putting in random stuff in our own little.
That's what's cool though is when I picture, when we talk about getting to that next level or doing stuff, I'm like, all right, well, I know there's someone who let's say I would open up a satellite coffee shop. There was a part in my life where if somebody would have offered me something like that, I would have definitely taken it, and it's considered my own business that I'm running and I'm making money and I can live.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's all right, well, how many businesses have I interviewed here? If I bought a building, you could put other businesses in it. You can rent that out.
Yeah, and Airbnbs and all that kind of stuff is cool.
My friend's crushing flipping cabins and stuff, dude. Talking serious fucking money, buying cabins up in the Poconos. The first one he did, he completely did it all by himself. Took him over a year, but he learned how to do it. Now he's got crews of people, and he tells people where to go and what to do. I was on the phone with him today. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "How's that new cabin coming?" He's like, "I got a crew up here now." He's like, "I got a guy painting now. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. When I can't get a crew." He did it during the pandemic.
Nice. That was smart.
Bought two cabins under $100,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
Flip the one for $500, and the other one I think he did.
Yeah, if you fix them up, if they're crap and you fix them up, they'll be real nice, man. Cabins are the shit. I like outdoors type stuff, man. Anything you do, you just get away.
Gated community shit up there.
Yeah, they have a bunch.
Ariel Lake.
Yeah, we have the fights are going on this weekend. Remember they had the fights up there?
Yeah,
and that was really cool. I thought the Poconos was really cool, and there's a lot more people up there than people think. A lot of people moved out there, so. Especially during the pandemic, they were like, we're out in New York City. We can just live here and work from home.
Yeah. A lot of Russians. A lot of Russians.
Yeah, a lot of Russians. That's cool. I like Russians. They're a little crazy. You know what I mean? But they train hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that one?
Those bathtubs together.
Yeah, yeah. In UFC, did you see, or not UFC, did you see the Ngannou and Tyson Fury fight?
I did.
How crazy was that, right?
It was really weird.
Not only just the fight itself, you could go on about that, but how about them just losing money on paying for all those people to come out there?
Oh, my God. Freaking
that to them is nothing.
Kanye was there. Eminem was there. Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you know how much it would cost to get Eminem to get out of his house?
I know.
Do you know how much it would cost to get crazy Kanye out of his house?
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't want to be on camera anymore?
Yeah. And he's there. He was at the fights. They had the legendary boxers. They had Larry Holmes.
Yeah, they took that big picture.
De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
McGregor was there. Another one. You think you're going to get him stop doing what he's doing?
Just go to Abu Dhabi for...
Wild.
Yeah. Is that where it was? Or was it in Saudi Arabia?
I think it was Abu Dhabi, but I'm not sure.
And there's literally wars going on right... I was like, wait a minute. I was like, where are they?
Yeah.
And I was trying to look up the map because I don't know I don't know the Middle East.
It was crazy. It was so because I was paying attention to the background, and I follow MMA Junkie and stuff, so they were covering all that stuff, and then
you know, I'm looking at all these people there, and I'm like, how the fuck do you get Eminem
Dude, they had
there?
the Vince McMahon and the Undertaker there.
Yeah. Really weird. I mean, that's like I look at like Saudi Arabia and like Abu Dhabi and all that time. Like that's, I just call that like GTA.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real. Like that's like that's that like oil money and like people who could just do whatever the fuck they want. Like that kind of money.
They're buying up
beyond what anyone has in our country.
If you notice what they're doing, they're ruining sports, they claim. You know, like I don't care.
They took over golf.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at
They
other
were trying
sports.
to ban it, now they're joining it.
Yeah, now they're looking at other sports.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
And it's weird though because
PFL's kind of doing it.
Yeah.
There you go. That one dude was on the Ultimate Fighter Canada. He came over to the UFC. I watched his entire career. He wasn't going anywhere. He won 2 tournaments over there. Made $2 million.
Is that Austin Messier or whatever?
He just posted he won again, and he's just like, I don't know if I'll ever fight again.
He's a Canadian guy, right?
Yeah. And then Derek Brunson.
Yeah, Derek Brunson.
He just won, and he's like, I made so much money over here. I don't even know if I'm going to keep fighting.
Yeah, remember who were all the
Like,
guys
that's
that were
wild.
saying that Ngannou fumbled the bag? I don't know if he really fumbled the bag.
yeah.
He might have made a lot of money, and he almost KO'd.
He wouldn't have made that money.
Nah.
Mike Perry's making more money than he would have his entire UFC career.
Yeah, I like Dana
You think
White.
Eddie Alvarez is over there just fucking, you think he's fist fighting people bare knuckle for no reason?
They got to be making, I'd love to see what they're making. They got to be getting paid
He's probably getting paid more than he did at PFL. And PFL, he was getting like over $500,000 a fight. M was like, talked them into letting him be like, remember when like Misha Tate, it was like a bunch of fighters were like, we're a part of this. And then it went nowhere.
Didn't do anything.
And they all got paid.
PFL bought Bellator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, little known fact too, a lot of people don't know this, but the Feldmans who own BKFC, Bare Knuckle, they actually managed me and Thad Frick when I first started fighting again.
Yeah.
They were the guys in charge of the promotions. So they got me the contract and everything. So when I fought in CFFC, with the ticket sales, and Pete, this will blow people's mind, I made $7 grand in one night fighting. And that's more than people make in a lot of other different fight promotions. But the Feldmans, bro, they knew how to make money.
Yeah.
That's what those two guys are, Dave and Dave. Hi, I'm Dave. This is my son, Dave. And I like how Joe Rogan's like, man, the owner of BKFC looks like he's on coke. You know what I mean?
I saw when we went out to BK.
He's not on coke. Dave
when we went
Feldman's
out
good.
there, we went to the bar afterwards. Going to see Bare Knuckle live was one of the coolest things I ever got to do. We almost died on the way up there, but it was an awesome show. Saw a bunch of fucking, bunch of big knockouts, and then we just went to the bar afterwards, drinking fucking cocktails. And then the fighters just started sitting at the bar because they're all like, you know, they're making names for themselves now. They didn't have Mike Perry or anything then, and the owner just came up to the bar and was talking to the fighters and talking about bonuses and how to fucking drink. And I'm elbowing Jared, being like, "Yo, there's that fucking dude."
Yeah, Feldman. He was from around here. Him and his son were from around here, I guess, and they were running CFFC. They were involved in CFFC. Then they had their own promotion. Those guys just know how to make dough somehow. You know, they get into it, and they have. Believe me, they helped. I'll never forget that they helped me out big time. So every time I see him, like I saw him in Philly for something, and he was real cool. I was like, Dave, what's up?
They're moving
man?
the needle, man. They're not doing stupid shit either. Like it's hard for me to keep up with UFC, and I love watching bare knuckle, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't keep watching fucking fist fights.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot
like
of
this
fights.
card this weekend, like we're definitely fucking watching, dude. Mendez is on it again. Rothwell's on it. Like it's a fucking stacked card. Like they're not fucking around with that either.
It's a lot of fights.
They're definitely putting their hat in the fucking.
They got they got money, and they must
better
be
than
making
slap.
money. Where is it? Slap fighting is the dumbest thing. I never understood. How can they? It's just like crap you don't understand. How can they be pushing slap fighting when they're talking about CTE and so much other stuff? They're literally hitting each other in the face with no block.
Yeah.
I would never do that. I can't
And
believe
could you
it's a
imagine
thing.
what they're getting paid?
I mean, how could they be? I like how they're having them come out to music with belts and stuff. I'm like, this is a complete joke, man. Anyone who's legit is like, this is a joke. And it is. I mean, I hate slap fighting. It's stupid. And they're talking about how it gets more likes on Reels. But like, yeah, because it's stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's always better. Like, you put up some ridiculous jiu-jitsu move you invented, and it gets no likes. You put
But
up
look
a
at all
guy,
the viral stuff, or what Derek Lewis does.
Yeah.
He's just putting people getting like run over by cars.
guy falling off a ladder gets
Yes,
a
of
million
course
views.
that's gonna get
Should have
that.
fell off a
You have
ladder.
some guy whose face is so swelled out.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he's bleeding.
What about the twisted T? Remember the twisted T? When the guy hit the guy in the face with the twisted T?
Yeah.
He dropped it, and the guy tried to kick, and he's
Yeah.
like, douche.
It's crazy
You know
how
what I
much
mean?
violence is on there now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I'll go be going through my Instagram, like my algorithms, and there won't even be a warning. And you just watch people get shot now.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah, with all the
fucked
wars
up.
and stuff going on, man, they're posting a lot of stuff, and everybody's so triggered by any little thing. So, yeah, I don't know. But I guess I should say this before we end up so no one thinks that I'm crazy, is I support the current thing. So whatever the current thing is, I'm in full support.
There you go. Yeah,
you
we
can
almost
quote
did
me on that.
We're at 2 hours,
Yeah,
boy.
and you can take that to the bank. You know, what was that? That was the Steven Seagal one where they were like tapping his phone and he said that. You can take that to the bank.
You got anything else to close out on our push?
No, I mean, just a tournament. That's cool. Obviously, you know, local people, if you're in the area, sign up at the dojo. It'll honestly could change your life. You could sign up and just hate it and stupid and you don't like it. That's fine. Or it could be the thing that you don't know you need, but you need it. It's one of those things that you didn't even know, because we'll get the people that want it and are interested in it. But what I'm concerned about now, the level we're at, is getting the people that don't know they need it, but they need it. You know, whether it be for the physical, you know, getting in shape and helping your just overall lifestyle, you know, whether it's that, whether it's, you know, learning a skill or just doing something new or challenging that you were afraid of, or whether it's the camaraderie, whether you don't even care about what it is that you're doing, you just need to be on a team, whether you're on a team playing college sports and you miss that, whether you were in the military, whether you were a former police officer, whether you're just a guy that like grew up and all of his friends moved away and you don't stay in touch with your high school guys as much, and now you can come to a place and meet a bunch of people. And you know, there is a lot of crazy shit going on in the world today, but one place, and I was just talking about this with someone, one place that you can always walk in, I feel that there's not going to be, you know, no one's going to be, if you're at the right gym, I should say, there's not going to be any racism. There's not going to be any sexism. There's not going to be any, you know, just bigotry or people being assholes just because they don't like a certain type of person or whatever. Like jiu-jitsu, especially finishers MMA, literally anyone, and most martial arts, anyone can sign up. You can just walk in and sign up, and we got to accept you as a student first. Then you got to follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules of the gym, well, you know, obviously we're going to kick you out or you're not going to be able to train there. But we're going to be nice to you once or twice before we tell you, hey, you're not following the rules here and you're not falling in line with all the rest of the guys and you're not helping create a great creative learning environment. You can't train here anymore. So we do protect the gym. But I mean, you're going to walk in there and you're going to be training with white guys, black guys, Indians, Puerto Ricans, Dominican, like, doesn't matter. It sounds like that old, remember that one game, that game song?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's truth. The truth of it is you're going to walk in and see all different types of life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Was it Dream? The song Dream?
I don't know. It was one of those. It might have been, it might have been the one where 50 Cent sang the hook, or it was like, maybe it was even Snoop Dogg that sang the hook. I'll have to think about it and then I'll post it up. West Side. It was definitely one of those, but it should have been like this. West Side. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just all the crap that's going on in the world is just non-existent at the dojo because you don't have time to think about it. You want to get in and do the workout and stuff like that, and you know, people are training together and you don't know what's going on in a lot of people's lives. They could be coming from a complete shit situation, but when they're at the dojo, people are going to respect them and they could ask for help. You know, that guy or girl, they might not have anybody in their life or do anything. And then now they know people at the dojo. Even if you train for a while and don't train anymore, we still like you. You know, we still see you and you're like, oh, what's up? There's this guy, you know, hey, what's up? Hey, man, blah, blah, blah. And people always come back. We just had Jordan. He's a barber. He just started bringing his daughter in. You know, Renee's doing all the police training stuff.
I saw.
We got the tournaments. We got women's classes over in Allentown. I still teach a kids class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We got fighters, you know, we got guys that are just starting out. We got college students. We got women trying to learn self-defense. You know, we got all types of different types of people there, man. It's a really cool thing. So, you know, that's what I'm always pushing. I feel like if anyone's asking me, it's like, just come in and sign up at the gym. $99 to get started. That ain't shit. That's cheaper than anything else you could do. You want to take your kid to Parkettes, $400 a month. You want to go to gymnastics for your kids, $700 a month. We charge more than that, but that first month is $99. You could come in and just try classes, many as you want. We never put a limit on how long you could train. We want you, like schools would be like, you can only train twice a week for $120 a month. It's like, bro, they're not going to get good. Your school sucks. We want you to come as many times as you want. I'd rather you be here every day of the week if you can. If you don't care about your family, come in every day and train. We want to get you good. It's not like the regular gym where you sign up and they don't want you to come and use the equipment. No. I want you to come in. And if we hook you up, like if you're like, oh man, I can't afford it, we got to hook this guy up. The only thing we require you to do is obviously help clean at the school and do other tasks for us. But I want you to train. I'm going to hold you to that. I want you to come in and actually try to get good and then see what happens. Like with tonight, it was a small class, me, Jimbo, and we had a couple of the college kids from Lehigh in, and I was just training with them. And they were like, you could tell they were like a little like, oh shit, like Zach and Jimmy are rolling with me now. And they were good. And they couldn't believe I was I'm like, dude, you guys are killing it. You know, we probably have like 25 Lehigh kids right now. That's awesome. Just training at school. Yeah. So, you know, it's you know, definitely every different type of walk of life. And I just love martial arts and, you know, I just want to keep doing it, you know. So look for more of that from me and just, you know, anything. If you for following me in the school, just go on my Instagram, click on the link on the bio, and you can get everything. That's pretty much all I got on that one.
Cool.
But until my death, my goal is to stay alive. Survival of the fit, baby. Only the strong survive.
Yo! No better way to end it than that way. First time listener, first time watcher. It's neveragainstudio.com. All of the old podcasts are on there. I don't know what's going on with apparel. I have to straighten some stuff out with that. So for now, you can just check out the stuff I got going on. Subscribe to the YouTube and all that. Everything's going to change. The restaurant is going to be open next year. So if you've noticed that this is slowing down, it's because I'm transitioning into opening a restaurant. I'm trans now. I'm trans. I'm attracted to Will Smith, and
keep my restaurant out your fucking mouth.
I'm not Team Diddy. I believe that man. A lot of people are coming out and talking a lot of shit on Diddy, and I feel like he did a lot of people wrong.
Yep, he did.
Usually, if you follow the North Star of 50 Cent, he'll take you away from the shit people.
50.
So, burn Diddy. Other than that, that's it.
Free Big Slime.
Check out all finishers all the time. Thank you.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.